What it do? What it do? What it do? What it do? It is A to the R here, GamingAubs. Right back at you again. All right, let's just get into this video. I'm going to play a video. This is by who is this? Jasmine the Door. That is a name. Anyways, all right. So we're gonna play her. This is for those women who don't know how to women. 7 highly attractive feminine traits men love. She said this is a game changer. So let's listen to what she has to say. Listen up if you try and get a man and keep a man. Because some of y'all need all the help you can get. Trust me on this. Let's see what she got to say, peeps.
A lot of people posit that male sexuality is at least comparably straightforward. If you're female and you're physically attractive to a guy and you're sweet, chances are he'll be at least moderately interested. And there is definitely merit to that, but there are still other things you can do to make yourself really stand out. If you've looked for information before about what exactly men find attractive or sexy about women, you may have read simple things like be honest, be passionate, and have a sense of humor. And yes, those traits are attractive, but they are
A sense of humor. Well, yeah, I get it. Okay, no, never mind.
ubiquitously attractive. All people find honesty, passion, and a sense of humor attractive.
That's
What I'm
true.
going to give you instead are particularly feminine traits that men are particularly attracted to
Listen
in
up.
women. And I am making this video because women are no longer taught how to gain the attention of a man you
Basically, what she's saying is you women don't know how to women.
find attractive. These days, wanting a man's attention is actually frowned upon by default. Instead of trying to find a husband, we're taught to become the CEO your parents wanted you to marry. But you know what? There is nothing wrong with wanting to attract a man. Of course, there's nothing wrong with being single, and there is a minority of women who genuinely want to remain single, but these days, being single is now considered chic, and I honestly theorize that it's because a lot of women simply don't know how to attract the kind of man she wants to be with. So instead, she copes by telling herself that being single is actually what she wants. But come on, most of us do want to find Mr. Right.
That is true. You all be putting on the front. So let's listen to how women should women.
Right? So if that's you and you want to know in particular what men love about women, or maybe you already have found Mr. Right and want to find new ways to make his heart throb, then please keep watching. By
Yeah,
the way,
keep
we are
watching.
close to 100,000 subscribers on this channel, so if you would like to like, subscribe, and share this
Go ahead
video,
and
that would be
subscribe to
wonderful,
her.
but if not, that's okay too. Number 1, express your love of being a woman. The very first thing I think I need to talk about is that men love women who love being women.
So in terms of what she's saying, men love women who women.
Men love women who gracefully express their love of being women by how they dress, how they talk, how they take care of themselves. Is that men love women who love being women. Men love women who gracefully express their love of being women by how they dress, how they talk, how they take care of themselves,
How they dress, how they talk, how they take care of themselves. I can stop the video right here. That's all you need to do. Be a woman. Simple.
how they smell. Women who embrace, nurture, and
How you smell. Do y'all even wear perfume? You know what? I need to go see because I guarantee you that there are more colognes being sold versus perfumes because I have yet to find a woman who even wear perfumes. It's crazy.
accentuate what makes them women. A masculine type of man isn't really going to be as attracted to a woman who complains about being a woman, who thinks she's a victim simply because she's a woman and constantly talks about how men have it so much better, who
If I have, let me just say this: if I ever run into a woman who sits there and says something stupid like that Men have it easier in the world. She won't be dating me.
Hates that she's the one who gets protection, the one who gets pregnant and gives birth, the one who is perhaps more empathetic and sensitive, etc. A man is going to embrace a woman who embraces her own nature because it's your nature and your own unique feminine essence per se that is so irresistible to him. And if you reject that part of yourself or resent those parts of yourself that he really enjoys, then he's probably not going to find you nearly as enticing.
That is true. So when you don't know how to women and you try to avoid being, try to avoid being women, then we find that unattractive. It's kind of the same situation where some of you all, I'm pretty sure, if you was talking to someone online and y'all decided to meet up in real life, and they came to your date wearing a dress, you're probably gonna be turned off by that, right? You don't want a man that wears a dress, wears makeup. You probably want a man that knows how to man. So just like how y'all like that, men love women who know how to women.
So, by expressing your love of being a woman, by embracing what makes you a woman and not complaining about your nature, that makes you stand out because unfortunately, there are a lot of women who either straight up dislike being women or who subconsciously or even consciously deny or reject their femininity. What this is essentially alluding to is feminine confidence. Confidence in your femininity, in your nature, by not reasoning away or excusing what you love to do, how you like to dress or walk, talk, laugh, or interact with people. Number
I can stop the video here. That's all you need to do is just be woman. You women need to learn how to women. It's not that hard.
2. Demure. Being demure isn't a commonly used word
The
anymore,
hell's
but it
demure?
actually used to be a huge compliment to give a woman when the relations between the two sexes weren't a complete travesty like they are now. It essentially means to be reserved, modest, or shy instead of boastful and proud. A lot of women will abhor the idea that this is an attractive trait, perhaps because they believe that it means men want women who are easily manipulated, easily dominated, won't challenge him in any way whatsoever, that it
I'm gonna tell y'all something. Some of you all need to start playing video games and probably play RPGs. You're gonna kind of notice something right off the bat when it comes to the female characters. There's a lot of games where they have the female characters are very feminine, and then they have some females that are more on the masculine side, but they're on the masculine side in a sense of they're not trying to compete with the men in their lives. They're trying to, but they're using it as it's a defense mechanism, right? So some of y'all you need to play video games, and you will learn a lot. There's a lot of feminine female characters in video games. They're not going to be the star of the game. They're usually a healer, but hey, every party needs a healer. Just saying.
that simply appeals to a man's fallen nature. Inversely, I want to posit that masculine men are typically attracted to women who are demure because it equates to innocence and it inspires a protective kind of feeling in the man. In common parlance, innocence may be equated with naivete or the ability to be easily manipulated, but innocence doesn't equate to the lack of ability to stand up for oneself or to lack a backbone. This modern understanding of innocence is narrow and focuses on some aspects that innocent children have and equating that with innocence in general. Innocence is not childishness, though being childlike is innocent. From scripture, we know that God is innocent, but he's not naive. Rather, he is all-knowing. God's actions in history can be considered violent, but he is innocent because he is just and holy, which is exactly where true innocence is found. Innocence is an aspect of holiness. It essentially means to be undefiled and pure, and that's very attractive to men since they feel inspired to protect those who embody those characteristics.
God damn. You know what? I don't know if she's reading from a teleprompter. If she had, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think she knew all of that, but hey, listen. Y'all need to take notes. You want a man. She's giving y'all the formula right here.
People may roll their eyes at this example, but Bella Swan is actually a good example of the appeal of being demure and
Who's Bella Swan? 'Cause I don't know. Cause y'all Bella Swan. Oh. Oh, this is another series I haven't. So y'all. Oh, this is Twilight. Okay. Bella Swan. Oh. Oh, that's a cool superpower. Okay. But she's a kid. Am I tripping? Oh no. Okay, here she is. Uh, I mean, yeah. I don't know a whole lot about her. Is this that Amber Heard? Hold on. I know this is a character, but okay. Okay. I know who Bella Swan is.
The value of innocence, vulnerability, and humility. I sort of actually want to make a video in defense of Bella Swan because at least the character from the books is really misunderstood. I'd call it maybe the defense of Bella Swan, the innocent maiden, but I digress. If you remember from the movies at least, Bella is shy yet sweet. Her modesty and lack of sexual history represents innocence and purity, and her willingness to be vulnerable by falling in love with a vampire sounds so corny, but her willingness to be vulnerable is so enticing and human that it makes the vampire remind himself of the humanity within himself and therefore his own value.
You know what? I
These
want to say something. She said a whole lot in that. All I'm gonna tell y'all is this, peeps. Your femininity is gonna be your greatest weapon. You wanna lock down a man? You wanna get that man that's proposed to you? You better listen to her. That's the quickest way. That's why y'all like vampires. Think about it. And that's why vampires end up dying because they fall for that femininity. But when you start going aggressive and have that masculine energy towards a vampire, what do vampires do? They out to kill. Am I right or wrong? So there you go. She's giving you facts, the keys to how to lock in that ring.
attributes made her extremely attractive to essentially every single guy around her. Every single guy was enamored with her. And I'm not at all saying you should try to get every man to like you or
Correct.
to start dressing like Bella Swan. The point is the appeal of being Demir, which demonstrates vulnerability, humility, and innocence. And it instills a sense of serenity and mystery, which are, of course, incredibly enticing as well. Number 3, tenderness. Contrary to many women's understanding, a man's life is not inherently easy. Most men have a tough life, universally so compared to women of the
She said men have a tough life. And yeah, that is true. Because, see, unlike you all, we have to work. We can't just sit up. Well, I don't know, because some of y'all women love taking care of men. That's why y'all have those type of relationships y'all have. Different story. But in general, men can't just sit around and be like, oh, I don't feel like working. I guess I'll find me a wife, right? Versus a woman who doesn't really want to work and can just say, hey, I'll just find me a husband.
same background. Of course, men should choose to undergo difficulties which can really help them to mature into being men who have the ability to effectively provide and protect their families. But naturally, all men want a respite from their daily challenges. By being tender, soft-hearted, and gentle with your man, you give him that respite. You become his sanctuary, his oasis, his place of refuge, and you should rightfully believe that by being his oasis, he is utterly drawn to you. One way I try to practice this with my husband is by trying to not make it
Right there, she just said her husband, which means she's married. So you all want a ring? You need to listen to married people. Married people got the answers to how to get a man. If you're listening to single women, good luck because I'm sure that the advice hasn't worked so far. But here's a crazy thought. Since it's not working, why don't you get rid of your single friends, go find married women to be friends with, and see if your life changes then. Just a thought. Just a thought.
His responsibility to keep the house in perfect order. I grew up with a lot of emphasis on discipline when it comes to housework and cleanliness, and thus I have a very perfectionist way I like to clean and keep the house. And if I were to make it my husband's responsibility to keep the house exactly the way I want it, I'd be on him for messing up the little things all the time, and he'd feel nagged and attacked constantly.
There you
Instead,
go.
I remember that the house exists to serve the family. The family does not exist to serve the house. And having a house that looks lived in is to be expected, and that's even a good thing. So instead, I discreetly fix anything that my perfectionist mind wants fixed, instead of nagging and getting on my husband's back. This way, the house is the refuge it should be for him. Number 4, allow him to lead.
Oh
I often
shit.
get asked,
I'm not even
Jasmine,
gonna.
should I submit to my boyfriend? I believe that submission is a covenant between a husband and wife, so I definitely do not think a girlfriend should submit to her boyfriend the same way a Christian wife would submit to her husband. That being said, being receptive to a man's desire to take the initiative will go a long way, and many women will wince at the idea of allowing their man to take the lead, but I do very earnestly believe that most women crave a take charge man. If you want a man who will decide where to take you on dates, decide where to eat, who pays on the dates, who will take the lead in a dance, who will hold your hand, who will go in for the first kiss, who will protect you, and who will ask you to be his wife, then you do want a man who takes charge. And I would venture to guess that the vast majority of women want all of those, or at least most of those aforementioned things. You could safely practice this outside of marriage by simply asking his opinion on something, and if you like his choice, then just go with what he wants to do. But if he's truly a manly kind of man, then it really shouldn't be difficult to figure out how to allow him to lead. Simply by relaxing into your femininity, by practicing flexibility and cooperation, you will naturally be receptive to his leadership. But perhaps this is a valid one. There has never, ever been a self-respecting man on earth who earnestly wants a woman with an obnoxious, loud voice. Never. If you want a man to hear you and understand you, then yelling, being defensive, being belligerent is sort of ironically not the way to go. As soon as you start shouting, he'll likely just go into defense mode, which is true of anyone. He's going to be very repelled by that. Instead, speaking softly, speaking quietly, speaking calmly, speaking in a collected, almost effortless manner will invite him to let his guard down and to really tune into what you have to say. Number
Someone should have told my daughter's mom that, but I digress.
6, be open-minded and open-hearted. Women who are open-minded and open-hearted radiate positivity, acceptance, spontaneity, and a love for life. They're also likely to value cooperation and flexibility, which are incredibly attractive feminine traits. I am, of course, not saying that you should compromise your values as an effort to seem open-minded. That's just being a pushover and being disingenuous. But men, broadly speaking, are much more rigid and decisive in their thinking, and naturally, they don't desire to date someone who behaves exactly like a man. I mean, they're attracted to women and how women behave.
Imagine that men do not want to date other men. Imagine that. Here's the funny thing that women are not really looking at. If your man like a tomboy or a masculine woman, he would just date another man. Like you would just basically be there for sex, and he would go back to his man. If we really wanted to date wanted a manly woman, we would just date men.
Relationship also thrives with polarity, so they're at least subconsciously looking for a woman who balances out their perhaps more rigid way of thinking with more open-mindedness and flexibility. Being open-minded and cooperative also demonstrates your willingness and ability to follow his lead. Ways to practice this include being curious, asking questions, focusing on truth instead of being right, actively listening before giving your thoughts, checking your biases, and just avoiding being argumentative. If you disagree on something, try expressing that gracefully without being sanctimonious or needlessly defensive for the sake of your ego. Number 7, respect his space. If a man asks you what's wrong and you say nothing or I'm okay, based on what I've heard from other women and memes, he'll probably just say, all right, and move on, even if something
That's
is
exactly
wrong
what we're
with
going to
you.
do.
However, for
Listen.
some reason, perhaps because women
Listen, we ain't got time for the shittery. If we ask you what's going on and you say, oh, nothing, we're going to keep it on moving. And don't bring it up 2 days later talking about, well, because when I asked you, you said everything was good.
are more generally better empathizers than men, we tend to probe more and try to get him to unload whatever is bothering him. But most likely, he's not keeping whatever's bothering him to himself in order to gain attention or be manipulative. He's keeping whatever's bothering him to himself simply because that's how, for now at least, how he wants to deal with it. He wants to think it over for himself. He doesn't want to burden others, or for whatever reason, he just doesn't want to talk about it, at least not yet. Something very respectful and attractive you can do for him is ask him what's wrong just once, and if he does not want to talk about it, just say something like, okay, if you need something, though, I'm here. Try not to get offended that he does not want to talk about it or bother him with your desire to talk about it. This demonstration of respect can go far. You are not infantilizing him, you're not nagging him, you're understanding of the fact that he's an adult and he can determine for himself whether he wants to talk about something or not. I actually think I need to make a whole video on how to avoid mothering your man, because I think a lot of women unintentionally do it and a lot of men unintentionally crave it, which are both disordered. So yeah, that's gonna go on the schedule. Bonus, express your love for others. A truly masculine man doesn't necessarily fall in love. He's intentional with whom he spends time with, and he's discriminatory against women whom he does not believe are worth his time, to be frank. This means that he pays attention to how you treat others. He pays attention to how you treat strangers, your family, to even people who disrespect you. And treating those people around you with patience and compassion, even under duress or stress, you will really enforce his attraction to you. Well, that's it for today. Thanks a lot for watching. We are again close to 100.
She taught y'all how to women. So, I'm going to say this. Bella Swan, huh? I mean, for y'all still jumping in the comments, I don't know who Bella Swan is. No, I don't watch Twilight. What the heck? Come on now. Like, where the hell was I at during this when y'all was watching all this? Probably outside. I don't know. Riding my bike, playing basketball. Being a man. So I don't do all that. I mean, well, she do dress nice. Okay. Uh, I mean, she kind of dressed like a country girl, to be honest with you. I don't know. I'm kind of, I don't know. I don't know. Uh, but yeah, I mean, she dresses nice. Okay. So, I guess be like Bella Swan. I'll be more like Bella Swan. But yeah, that's how you women. So, for you women that are complaining about men, I don't know, learn how to women, and then you won't have to worry about complaining about me not getting a man. Anyways, I don't have anything else to say. I just wanted to watch it with y'all so y'all can understand how to get a man, how to secure a man, and what men are wanting from a woman, which obviously is not a lot. We just basically want a woman that womans. So, anyways, at least I do. I like a pure woman. Pure woman. But anyways, I'm out. Peace.